stream, which we do once a month, and it is for April 2024. Acolyte members who have submitted their questions, I will answer the questions, provided that they're not too terrible or too entirely out of scope for the questions. Like, for example, tell me everything about every type and every octagram ever, all in one question, so that you will take the next 5 hours delivering this gigantic dissertation to answer my question. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. That's why I just say get lost or move on or do something else, right? So, anyway, it's fun regardless. First question, though. We're just going to go right into the questions because why not? Is it bad for an ESFJ, SDSF man to not have compatible friends? Yes. It is very bad. Next question. No, okay. Yes, it's horrible. The reason why it's horrible is because as iron sharpens iron, so does one man to another. How is an ESFJ man actually going to become a better man if he doesn't have compatible male friends? Explain that to me. And if he has compatible female friends, what business is he having female friends? I don't understand. What's up? What's wrong with people? You know what I'm saying? But yes, female friends. No, female friends are basically nothing but a drain on a man's life. The only reason to have female friends is so that you could utilize those female friends to get with their other friends. But it's all for the purpose of getting with somebody. Otherwise, there's no point in having female friends. Just don't do it. There's really no point. I mean, at best, in terms of female friends you could possibly have, it's like with your male friends and they're like married and you're married yourself, and like, you know, you could be like somewhat acquaintances, you know, specific for. Yeah. Question and answer. You can't answer my questions. You don't know the answer. Me too. We all live in South Canada. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. What's up, Yuri? What's shaking, man? Welcome to the show, bro. So, dang, almost had a taker for like typing random people. Should have done it, but wasn't entirely sure. The guy was quite high, so not entirely sure if that was a good call. Anyway, but seriously, like, yeah, ESFJs, you need to have male friends. Like, it is bad if you don't have male friends. You're basically going to become weak if you don't have male friends, so just make sure you're paying attention to that. And stop expecting everyone to enable your ass because you're SDSF as a man, because it's just not going to happen. That also can lead to weakness. It's one thing for like a woman to do that, but it's a completely different thing for a man to do that. So otherwise, just don't even do it. Like, not even remotely. Next question. How do ESTJs stop being loyal to toxic people? Oh my God. Is this a question for me? You know, because like personality database just automatically assumes that I'm an ESTJ, right? Why are you folks like not even like voting towards INTP on the personality database thing anyway? It's really funny content. You know what I'm saying? It's totally funny content. So like, why don't we do that? You know, just go in there. Maybe I should do a show, screen sharing all of the funny ass comments on personality database, and we could just like get in there. Like, okay, his real name isn't Jack. Who cares? Who cares? So yeah, how do ESTJs stop being loyal to toxic people? Well, let's discuss why they're loyal to toxic people to begin with. It's probably because it's all they've ever known. As a parent, the way that it works is that within the environment that they're in, it really impresses upon them. And ESTJs are all about time served. You know, this is why how like when an ESTJ man's trying to like seduce a woman, like an ISTP girl or whatever, or an ESTP girl, all he does is just stick around. He's like this, I don't know, lump on your foot that you can't get away from. He just always sticks around. He's just always there, and you can't get away from him. And eventually the STP girls, they kind of break over time, and then they're like, okay, yeah, you do stick around, even though I push you away a lot, but you're still here. So that proves to me you're still going to stick around because I'm actually afraid of abandonment. So yeah, okay, I guess I'll let you be my boyfriend, blah, 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 which is the same old shit every single time. You see it over and over and over again. Like, ESTJ men have the most boring, seductive approach that you've ever seen or heard of ever. And it's all predicated upon the one thing that they care about the most, time served. They think everything is measured in terms of time served. Well, an ESTJ gets into toxic relationships because they have time served in toxic relationships. Maybe it's probably because they actually grew up in a toxic familial environment. Maybe that's the actual problem. Have you guys even thought of that? Have you even considered that? Because SI parent, the thing is that they get bogged down by familiarity. Familiarity is their main thing. And if they don't let go of familiarity, it ends up becoming a worse thing over time, right? This is why, STPs often say familiarity breeds contempt. I've had multiple ESTPs tell me that my whole life. Familiarity breeds contempt. And that's why. It's because ESTJs exist. You see what I'm saying? And that contempt is what the toxic behavior actually is all about. So what they need to do is they need to actually expose themselves to new people on a regular basis. Get out of their comfort zone, their social comfort zone, get around new people on a regular basis, and stop trying to be that person who has the highest time served with your friends, because no one cares about time served, actually, except you. Only you care about time served. And what you're doing is you're projecting what you care about onto others and assuming other people care about the same thing. And it's because, I like to be rewarded by other people with time served, so I'm going to reward other people with my time served, and then and because of that, I'm going to be treated better, right? No, it's a projection. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Next question. Does UCT impact cognitive transitions? The answer to it is yes, absolutely it does. It does impact cognitive transition. The thing is I'm unwilling to talk about how or why. I'm not willing to talk about that right now. That is something that will be heavily explored in the upcoming course, Ego Hacking Love. And Ego Hacking Love will no longer be available just as a regular course that we're doing some pre-order with. Actually, it's going to be available as part of our new membership to get Ego Hacking Love. And that membership is called Practical Psychology. We're going to have Precision Psychology and Practical Psychology, 2 new memberships coming out. You're definitely going to want to get both, definitely. And then we're going to be making all of our course content available to Practical Psychology, because that's what the courses are. They're actually practical ways to utilize Jungian analytical psychology specifically for solving practical issues and practical problems literally within life. That's the entire point of it, okay? So yeah, yes, UCT does impact cognitive transitions. I'm just not going to say how on this stream. All right, next question. Could you explain the virtue and vices of each temple? I already have, actually. I've done this within a Cutting Edge episode. Since you're an Acolyte member and is asking this question, please watch the Cutting Edge episode dedicated to the temples. Watch that episode. Sometimes questions come in. I'm just going to throw you in the direction of the right resource. Also, audience, if you want the answer to the question, could you explain the virtue and vices of each temple? Because each temple does have virtues and vices. Then what you want to do is actually become a journeyman member right now. And trust me, you're going to want to become a journeyman member right now, because the $29 a month is going to turn into $47 a month in the very near future. If you folks actually want to get grandfathered in on the current price point, you should probably become a member right now. csjoseph.life/members. Or you get our nice, super awesome mega deal, which is csjoseph.life/essentials. Okay? Go buy that, get grandfathered in on the old price point, so you're only spending $29 a month, but just know that the $47 a month price point's coming out, and very soon. We're looking at probably within 2 weeks, okay, for the price hike. So you're going to want to actually get in now while you still can. Clock is ticking, folks. Get in there, all right? Cool. Next question. What is the personality type of Dr. Doom, a.k.a. Victor Von Doom in Marvel Comics, etc.? Would you consider yourself a personality type guru at this point? I would consider myself the world's foremost expert at this point, because I have yet to find someone who's more expert in it than me. That's how I consider myself. And here's the thing. Do you think I actually like that? No, I don't like that, okay? Because now I'm the one that has to pioneer the science. You see what I'm saying? I'm the one who has to actually put in all that work. It'd be nice if I could have somebody to learn from, but it's very hard for me to do that. That's why I'm consistently reading books like crazy. Although I had to put a pause on reading books recently, because I'm actually heavily being invested in spending most of my reading time on learning Korean. So, 안녕하세요. Anyway. Okay. So what personality type is Dr. Doom? He's an ENTP, like straight up. He is an ENTP. He's also the best villain ever known in all of Marvel Comics. But yeah, he's literally an ENTP. Absolutely. And the best ENTP portrayal of, actually, in the movies, the guys who actually played Dr. Doom in the films that he was actually in film, they're all ENTPs, every one of them. Every one of them. And the most recent Dr. Doom that was portrayed with that ENTP actor, one of my most favorite ENTP actors of all time. I love that guy. He's really cool. Very fantastic fellow. All right, next question. Does type affect what body type women prefer? Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. I mean, if you like, we've been discussing Kibbe body type a lot among personality types, and I've revealed some details relating to Kibbe body type, KIBBE, for example. But yes, the answer is it absolutely is. So, for example, extroverted sensing, pessimistic women are oftentimes classics or gamines, whereas extroverted sensing optimistics are not. They're actually on the opposite side of the classics or the gamines, as an example. Never trust a skinny chef. That's funny, Jacob. Real funny. Real hilarious. But yes, personality type definitely affects what body type women prefer. Do you know why? Because guess what? Here's the thing. Personality type, based on women being able to have relatedness towards men, right? They have certain types that they're the most compatible with, like golden pair, natural pair being the highest compatibility, in my opinion. I've recently changed my view on that. And the reason why is because each of the specific cognitive attitudes that are necessary within the natural pair, even though I've called it the bronze pair, those cognitive attitudes take care of the other attitudes. The parent takes care of the infant or the inferior very easily. The hero is the hero to the child. The child is something that the hero really enjoys. So because of the cognitive attitudes, I actually maintain that the natural pair is actually the best and highest compatible of all of them, just from an attitude perspective. The reason why is because it's all about longevity, right? We get in relationships for like longevity. See what I'm saying? So, and I came to that conclusion after Fib and I were doing some work on cognitive attitudes specific for ego-hacking love, and those types of new adjustments have been made as a result. I do like soft classic, but you can become a dramatic classic if you lose body fat. It's pretty easy, okay? Classic itself is the foundation. If you need to lose body fat, then you're on the soft side. If you're actually lower body fat, then you are on the dramatic side. So just giving you an idea. But the point is that based on how people are aesthetically attracted to each other, guess what? The body types that are typical of XYZ type are already what people are looking for based on their compatible relationships to begin with. So, no, I'm not that fat. Okay, well, if you're not that fat, are you like 20% body fat or lower? Basically, that's kind of like where you should be. Just letting you know. All right, cool. All right, how to not have too much or too little empathy as an INTJ. That's extroverted feeling trickster. This question is actually answered in Ego Hacking Fear, specifically the silver bullet section of the INTJ video in section 4 of the Ego Hacking Your Fear course. Go get the course at egohackingyourfear.com. But in general, you kind of can't until you learn how to get extroverted feeling trickster mastery. And that course, alongside Season 19, actually. So Season 19, the INTJ episode for Season 19, and then the INTJ episode within Section 4 of the Ego Hacking Your Fear course absolutely answers this question at length. And I'm not going to get in the way of that, so please go get the course. You will be able to get the course in the new launch for our practical psychology. But then that's a monthly fee access, basically. So we're moving to a subscription model. If you want to get ahead of that and just get the course to have basically indefinite access without paying the subscription, go to egohackingyourfear.com right now and get the course, okay? Also get the masterclass. It's incredible. Our entire basis for universal compatibility theory is based on the masterclass that we attach to Ego Hacking Your Fear. All right. So, how do INFJ UDSF males embody the paladin qualities of Jesus? Well, given that Jesus was definitely a UDSF INFJ, it's basically the same I don't know. It's the same because, like, for example, he's outwardly idealistic, consistently going out of his way and being disappointed with other people not being their ideal selves. He was outwardly idealistic. He was unconscious developed consistently. But he had no jealousy and didn't want what other people had. No jealousy whatsoever. And he just kind of went through life doing what he did. You know, it didn't even matter. Like, oh, there's a nice place to sleep. I'm just going to sleep here, for example. That's just how it was. And as a result of that, he was outwardly chaste. He was outwardly grateful, constantly leading with gratitude, constantly trying to remind other people around him to be more grateful for what they have. And that's ultimately how he lived his life. Okay, so yes, an INFJ UDSF has a lot in common. You know, INFJ UDSF man has a lot in common with with Jesus, basically from that point of view. All right. Cool. We got to take her.
Sorry.
Here, hold this, beautiful.
Am I allowed to curse on this? Are we going?
Hold on.
What's up, brothers?
No. The camera's on this side, man.
What's up, brothers?
Gotta get a microphone.
It's not on?
All right.
All right. What's up, brothers?
All right, cool. It's better if you pin it in your lapel, if you can.
What the
pin
heck?
it on
What's
you.
a lapel?
I don't know. You kind of see how it's attached right here.
Oh yeah.
It's attached
Hold
to
on.
something. Yeah, you can listen. All right.
What's up, brothers?
All right. I've never met this guy before. What's your name, sir?
My name is Kyle.
Kyle. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Chase, like the bank. Yeah.
Chase. Chase Bank. Okay.
Yeah. No
Big blunts?
affiliation. Oh no. Cigar.
Same
I
thing.
like me some tobacco.
Okay.
But I don't really smoke other than like when I'm on camera.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Me
Me neither.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Right.
Yeah. You got an OnlyFans or something? Is that how you make your dough?
Jerkmate.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Tight shit.
Oh, okay.
All right. So what's the question?
All right. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then we're going to actually talk about you to everyone on the stream, okay?
How many people we got? 72?
Yeah, we got 72 tonight.
What's up, brothers?
Yeah, okay,
All right.
cool. So where are you from? What's your story? Like,
So I'm from Argentina. I'm not joking either.
Epic.
This is my.
Hablas Castellano? No? That's too bad.
No.
All right.
I'm from Idaho.
Oh, okay.
Born and raised here. What else do you want to know?
What else do I want to know?
I don't know. I'm from here.
Well, what do you do for a living?
I'm a firefighter.
Bitchin'. Yeah? How did you pass the training? Did you do the backpack test for the training for that?
We did do the PAC test. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
What was the weight on that?
90 or 45 or 90. I forget.
45 pounds.
I think
3 miles. 45
miles.
minutes.
45. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because I did the training myself.
Really? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
that is
for
it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I want to do wildland after
That's what I
losing
do.
someone very close to me in
All right.
wildland. You do wildland?
I do.
So every summer?
Every summer. Yep.
What's that like?
I don't know.
You chop down a lot of trees
Yeah,
and dig
yeah.
a lot of holes and whatnot?
Yeah, it pays good.
Yeah, pays
You know,
good.
It is what it
So
is.
what caused you to like want to actually become a firefighter?
I didn't want to.
You didn't want to? Just kind of had it foisted on you, forced on you and shit?
Well, my friends like signed up for it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, screw it. They're doing it. I'll do it.
Screw it, yeah.
So
Okay.
then I ended up
Fair
doing
enough. Yeah, yeah. All right, that's cool.
it. Yeah.
What bothers you the most about society right now?
That's a good one.
Yeah, we're going for the deep shit.
So I don't like any kind of politics.
Really?
I think every politician is in it for the same reason,
Yeah,
and that's to lie.
yeah.
And I mean,
Because they're getting their kickbacks or something, or what are they getting out of it?
realistically, no clue. But think about it. Like, what president has actually wanted to do something good for everybody?
Yeah.
Nobody.
No
None
way.
of them.
No.
They're all either one side or this side. And it's like,
Yeah.
why can't we have somebody that's for everybody? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so I just don't like the current political state.
Yeah. So what do you make? You make shit. You're an artist. So what do you make?
I'm an artist?
Yeah, you're a very creative fellow. Tell the audience what you make.
Money.
Yeah, you just make money.
That's it.
That's it.
And yeah.
You don't make
that's it.
music. You don't make music. Come on.
Oh.
No music, no painting.
You think I make music?
No drawing and shit? You don't do any of that?
No.
I bet you'd be good if you actually applied yourself.
I bet you I might. But,
Strike me as an individual as a lot of really good mechanical mastery if you actually wanted to.
Mechanical is in automotive?
No, it's in exerting your will in the physical environment and bending it to your will.
Okay, maybe if I, had the right audience, but I live in a small town.
If you had a lot audience.
Right.
This small town?
No, I live an hour away.
Really?
Yeah, my town has like 1,200 people.
Wow. What are you doing out there?
Fine
out
now.
here.
Oh, I grew up here. Those are my brothers, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. How many brothers you got?
2.
2?
Yeah.
How many sisters you got?
1.
1.
Or 2.
2. Okay, we just kind of forgot one there, you know.
It's iffy.
It's like an
It's
iffy
iffy.
sister.
Yeah.
An if sister. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
it's
it.
a rough situation.
Rough sister situation, folks. Fair enough. All right, cool. So, that was great. Now it's my turn.
Right.
So you told me a little bit about you. Now I'm going to tell you about you.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. This man is an extremely moral individual. He weighs everything out in his head all the time. Also actually tends to be a little bit behind the scenes, kind of a little secretive sometimes. Doesn't often say much because he wants to take in what everyone else is thinking, what everyone else is doing first before he allows himself to share his opinion at certain times from that point of view. Also, he lives entirely in the moment, sometimes a little time blind, sometimes time gets a little bit away from him because he lives so much in the moment. And he's so innocent with everything he wants to do and all his little choices to the point where it's almost like he has liquid luck no matter whatever he does. Very fascinating.
How the fuck do you know that, dude?
But your fear.
What is my fear?
You're afraid of other people thinking less of you. You're afraid of people destroying your reputation and talking mad shit about you behind your back, especially when you had nothing to do with it. You go out of your way consistently to make yourself look good on a regular basis. And your worry is somewhat similar. You worry about making people feel bad. You worry that you look like you're actually a selfish, entitled asshole. So you actually try to go out of your way to be a little bit more caring so that you don't look like that. Also, oftentimes you're very critical about what you do to the point you hold yourself to the super high standard of, I'm not doing enough, so I'm going to force myself to do more because I'm not contributing enough and I'm not doing
How do you know this shit, dude? What do you do? What are you?
On YouTube.
What are you? What's your
I'll
profession?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
And then what you're least aware of is consequences to your actions. You know immediate reactions to things, and you see anything is possible. Like literally to you, anything is possible. Anything could happen. That is literally how your life is. The problem is though, is that what you're not aware of is you don't know how to prioritize those things because you don't realize which things are more probable than the others, essentially. Okay. And that can bite you in the ass because it's like, ooh, I'm going to make this cool decision, right? And then it blows up in your face. And like, fuck, I didn't see where that came from. Oh, shit. Right. But because you have like this liquid luck sense about you and you're very tactical, you're not strategic, but you're very tactical, you can actually get yourself out of any sticky situation that you end up in.
I do.
And it's like, it's just an amazing thing about you. It's great. Oh shit, I'm in a sticky situation. Oh, but I can get out of it. It's all good. I got this. I'm tactical. No worries.
How do you notice stuff? You're weird, man. I like you.
I like you too, man.
So how do you know this? What do you do?
I'm the world's foremost expert in Jungian analytical psychology.
What the fuck does that mean? Respectfully explain that in dumber terms.
It means I can read people rapidly.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll see me out here with a little street sign that says Epic Street Psychic Free Reading beyond the show. And then I do my whole reading on them and shit. You know, I'm a psychologist and I just give them my card. I'm like, actually, I'm a psychologist, not a psychic. Even though they end up believing that I'm a psychic the whole time.
I don't even know what to believe. Like, I believe it, right? I believe you're fucking smart. Fuck you.
What's really cool about it, though, is that I can teach people how to do it, and that's what this channel's for.
Okay.
Teaching people this shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just like a mentor. That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
You just blew my mind, like low key.
Yeah.
Low key.
Yeah,
But
you're
hey,
one of my-
if you know this guy, you better subscribe or do whatever the hell you gotta do. That was weird. I'm not even kidding. Oh, man.
You want a card?
Yeah, give me one.
All right.
Let me take this thing off. I gotta get back to the boys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fuck off. This guy's actually kind of legit.
Around, move. Oh, I have one.
What are they saying?
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah, my last one.
Thank you, brothers. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, if anyone else over there wants to get on the show, let me know.
All right,
You enjoy yourself, bro. See you later. Yeah, just hold that. The loud one over there is an ESFP. I bet he's not going to be able to resist coming over here. Let's see if it happens. Yeah. All right. Where I leave off. Yeah. Okay. What do you do when you realize your family is about to betray you? Well, classic INTJ paranoia. Like, here's the thing. Like, are you assuming that they're going to betray you? Because oftentimes, like, INJs do not know how to deal with their baggage, and it ends up becoming like a serious problem. Oh yeah, by the way, folks, that guy was an ISFP. So you know, ISFP for sure. And I didn't even get into his octagram. He got hella spooked. Could have gone in his octagram, but I didn't. But he got hella spooked. So yeah. Yeah, I know, right? You guys see Parent Victoria. And you're like, oh yeah, he doesn't want to create because he doesn't have an audience. I'm like, come on, you have to create to get the audience. Like, seriously. But yeah, he's ISFP. Fitting, because we're at the ISFP tree right now, you know? We're at the ISFP tree, you know? We got Chris Knife, my ISFP wife right here. She's totally dope. And more questions. All right, so we're in ISFP land right now. There you go. Okay, cool. So let's see. What do you know when you realize your family's about to betray you? Okay, here's the thing. Self-fulfilling prophecies. If you actually are, like, oftentimes INJs are assuming that people are about to betray them because they look in the past and it's like, oh, this thing looks just so similar to me being betrayed in the past, so I guess they're going to betray me now. And then they start acting as if, you start treating people as if they already did betray you, which then, guess what, causes them to betray you. Okay, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what you should do is, like, stay away from people that you know for a fact is going to betray you, but do you really know for a fact they're going to betray you? Because you have FI critic for an INFJ, but you have TI critic as an INTJ, and TI critic, you just don't ever know what is true anyway. Because you have introverted feeling child. And when you have introverted feeling child, guess what? That means you're basically delusional all the time. And INTJ men really, really struggle with that. They struggle with how delusional they themselves can actually be, and are consistently working so hard to not be the delusional person in the room. And that's why they're consistently asking other people, not for feedback, but gathering data from every single other person in their life constantly, because they're trying so hard to not be delusional on a regular basis. Versus an INTJ woman who usually leans into her delusional approach. They hella lean into it. With the exception of maybe the UDSF INTJ woman, they don't really lean into it that much. It's still there, but at least they're actually more committed to getting more data over time, but they gather all this data and they have no clue what to even do about it. You see? No, he's not too extroverted to be an ISFP. The guy's on stims. He's cognitive transition, okay? Come on. Have you guys, like, figured out how to detect cognitive transition yet in people? It's very easy. Just look at their octagram. Look at their deadly sins, their living virtues. Look at their cognitive origins, okay? Because if he was extrovert, it'd be a different story. Come on. So, I don't. Yes, the record-breaking women's basketball. You know, as what a great legacy women's basketball is. I guess I don't know. Do you have any idea what type you think Enoch is? I really don't know. I don't know what type Enoch is. I don't. I'd be very curious, though, even though I've studied Enoch a lot. So yeah, what you do when you realize your family's about to betray you, don't treat them as if they are betraying you or about to. That's literally what you do, okay? So next question, why does UDUF INTJ not work with UDUF ENTP? Well, it does work, but obviously relationships can fail. Yeah, I see you there. Yes, any relationship can fail, okay? It's not hard, okay? So I have dated UDSF INTJ women in my life, and it did not work. It didn't work. Well, because you still have to deal with nurture. You still have to deal with the fact that women are conditioned on what to expect from men, but not conditioned on how to treat them. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of societal crap. So many women, especially extroverted thinking, feminine, primary, INTJ women, UDSF, INTJ women, they got that boss babe crap going on way too much. Okay. And they got their tats, they got their tattoos, they got their boss babe, and they visually look emasculating. You see what I'm saying? But like, oh, I'm sure they're a good person or whatever, but they visually look emasculating. On top of that, they have extroverted feeling trickster, and extroverted feeling trickster ends up becoming a problem because they don't even realize that they're talking to a lot of men and looking to the other men in their life as if they're hoes, even though they're not intentionally trying to do that. But men's perception is so bad that they're auto-judging these women as hoes anyway. Okay? And yes, as you said, culture is also a very big thing. It's a really big thing. Watch out for that, okay? So yeah, literally, like, from an on paper compatibility perspective, on paper, INTJ UDSF can work extravagantly well with ENTP UDSF, absolutely. But there's so much more than just personality type. There's so much more than octagram. There's so much more to it. You still have to, like, are they feminine and they're masculine? If the relationship broke down, it's because someone wasn't masculine or someone wasn't feminine when they should have been. That's literally the answer to this question, okay? The sexuality piece is broken. And remember, sexuality always trumps personality type, which always trumps octagram, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, so here's the next one. How can an ISFP woman be better at managing money? How can they be better at managing money? ISFP women are notorious for being bad at managing their own money, but they're actually very good at managing other people's money. Very good at it. Extremely good at managing other people's money. And the reason why is because it's all about their performance. It puts them into their extroverted sensing parent. And they have to be responsible because they're trying to give another person that they're managing money for a good experience and be memorable so that they stay in that position of authority over those finances, essentially, for whatever position that is. I was with an ISFP woman who did a lot of financial work for a business at one point in time, and she was really, really good at it. But when it came to managing her own finances, she was terrible. It was either spend everything or spend nothing. It was always feast or famine with her consistently. Now, naturally, it's better for an ISFP woman to be more focused on the saving side of things for her own personal finance, absolutely. But when it comes to, but I have known them, some of them to like really lean into their, like if they're unconscious focus and get hella greedy and whatnot with their unconscious focus, they'll just spend all their money like instantly. And it's just, again, the cycle of feast or famine for this ISFP woman in her life, right? And it gets especially hard if she has a lot of baggage with men in her life consistently, because then she doesn't trust anyone as such that where she can like trust to follow their lead, following a man's lead basically in his masculinity. So she ends up going from feast or famine because she's constantly putting herself into sex only category instead of the category of commitment as an ISFP woman. And when she's consistently being put into sex only category by men, do you think she's actually going to be very good at managing her finances? No, because she's going to be having bouts of unconscious focus, which means she's going to be dealing with deadly sin of greed consistently, okay? Okay, all right, that's a great question. That's a great question. Yeah, folks, you can ask questions that are relevant. That's a very relevant question. So what is the best way to help an ISFP woman in this situation from a man's point of view? Lead her. Lead her. Use your devotion. Take care of her needs, emotions, desires, and problems, okay? Look at her financial situation. Help her allocate her funds appropriately. Basically, see yourself as the arbiter or the person who is basically in charge of her funds and lead her to spending her funds properly, because under your leadership, she gains practice. Her extroverted sensing parent gets practice over her own personal financial management because she'll learn how to please you based on your financial leadership and then she'll be able to make better financial decisions because you're leading her through all those decision making. Women are not built for decision making. Women are built for information gathering. They are built for perception. Men suck at information gathering. They suck at perception, but they're very good at decision making conversely, right? So because of that, it all comes down to the male leadership. Lead her in such a way where she has enough freedom and room and space, to mess up, to fail here and there, but it's enough space that she has to practice, okay? Extrovert sensing, pessimistic types need practice, okay? Even if you're an ENTP with extrovert sensing demon, you have to learn how to practice, because SE pessimistic has to practice. Without practice, you're not going to get anywhere in your life if you're SE pessimistic. That's SE critics, okay? That's SE demons, SE inferiors, SE parents. Practice, practice, practice. That's why, my house rule oftentimes has been, no fun, more practice. It's all about practice and getting better and better and better and better and better. There's no such thing as perfect. We can strive for perfection through practice, but it's not about being perfect. It's about gaining skills and building skills. Skills is everything. Okay, that question is not relevant. That question is not no thing. What are you doing? That question is not relevant. No, ain't no thing, right? All right, cool. Next question. How can an ISFJ be productive and live in the moment? They can't. They can't. They have to go in their unconscious side of the mind to really, truly be in the moment, which means they're going to be consuming more than they produce. So the answer to that question is they can't. No. Answer is no. ISFJs cannot be productive and live in the moment at the same time. Can't happen unless they are like potentially on stims, maybe. But even then, no. The answer is no. No, doesn't happen. Next question. How does Octagram 3.0 combined with UCT affect learning styles? This question is way too advanced for this stream. Whoever asked this question, I'm not going to answer it. You need to submit another question and just say, hey, I had this stream in your submittal. My question was there, but it was skipped over. I'm submitting a new one. No big deal. Just do that. Don't worry. Just submit another one. Next question. How can SDSF INFP male be the best father to his children? Woohoo! Awesome. Love that question. Okay, so your mind temple. What does mind temple do best? Not knowing best, that's for sure. But what does mind temple do best? It's all about I was taught recently a little bit more about mind temple. Mind temple is always trying to profess something. They're trying to be very professional. So teach your children to do things correctly the first time, basically, right? And be more professional so that your children can actually profess something, okay? Teach your children to be more professional. Teach them to be a little bit more structured. Basically share part of you and teach your children that skill. Teach your children structure. Teach your children being committed, having a commitment to learning. And not just learning in an educational environment. I'm talking learning skills. I'm talking reading books, okay? Like, one of the things that my own father, he's mind temple, he's the ENFJ. One of the best things about my dad is that I remember one day he came home, he said, son, I read this book. You will read this book. Okay. And it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Even though Kiyosaki never actually wrote that book, by the way. He never did. But regardless, his name is on it. Who cares? I read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was an exquisite book and amazing book. And because of that, it fundamentally transformed my life. And literally because of that experience with my father forcing me as a child to read a book, I took it upon myself to read more nonfiction, to the point where I've been entirely obsessed with nonfiction. So obsessed with nonfiction that I'm literally here on this stream talking to you. Teach your children how to become more professional. That's literally how you do it as an SDSF INFP male. Next question, how can an INFP be more self-aware? What a silly question. That is a silly question. Do you know why it's a silly question? Because no one is more self-aware than an INFP anyway. They're the most self-aware of all the types. The absolute most self-aware, okay? So, and they're so self-aware, they have no awareness of the environment. So maybe you should be less self-aware. Be less self-aware. Don't do it, okay? Be less self-aware so that you can engage with the environment more, and you become a stronger INFP as a result of that, okay? You may actually end up developing your self-awareness over time because you're becoming less self-aware so that you can engage with the environment and gain extroverted sensing mastery instead of being tricked by it, consistent with your trickster function. How to move from stay-at-home dad to career as an ESTP. Oh yeah, very easy. Stop being guilty. Stop being guilty. You're so guilty all the time. You're guilty that you failed as a father, failed as a dad, failed as a husband, failed as a man, because you're not out there working, and that guilt is keeping you stuck in trying to contribute to these children because, hey, it's all you have, and you're holding on to what you have. You need to use your anti-inferior and start taking some risks. Go out there and take some risks. Here's the thing, you ESTPs, especially ESTP men, get hella suicidal sometimes. You guys get hella depressed a lot. If you're so depressed that you're willing to kill yourself, then why are you not willing to take big risks in your life? Okay? Because it's always better to aim high and miss than it is to aim low and hit. And when you're being a stay-at-home dad, you're aiming low and hitting as a man. Use that anti-inferior, aspire, and actually take some risks in your life. Take some fucking risks. Because the fact that you're not taking risks, guess what's gonna happen, bro? You're gonna have a real shitty life. Real shitty life. You need to take some risks. You get all super depressed or whatever. If you're so depressed, depression is there to tell you to aim higher. You're not aiming high enough. If you're willing to kill yourself, then why aren't you willing to risk it all on something? Like a big business venture of some kind. Who knows, you might make it work. You're pretty tactical as an ESTP. You should probably be able to do that. Come on, it's not hard. That's why I have no patience for suicidal people. I really don't. I have zero patience for them. I have zero patience because if they're willing to go that far, then they should be willing to take some major risks in their life and aim high and maybe miss, but at least they aimed high, which is more than most people do in their life. Seriously, most people don't. I took a huge risk quitting a $200,000 a year job to do this for a living. You see what I'm saying? I took a risk, worked out just fine, okay? Like, come on, take that risk. All right, how can an INFP desensitize themselves from criticism? They can't. They cannot. You can't desensitize yourself from criticism, like at all. You just can't do that. Can't do that. So what you end up having to do instead is you have to learn how to accept criticism. You have to learn how to ask for criticism. You have to learn how to do it consistently. Because it's criticism is what's actually going to cause you to grow as an extroverted thinking inferior. If you can't collect criticism, if you can't take criticism, you're going to be ignorant your whole life. And you're going to be walking around your TI demon thinking you actually know everything about everything, when the reality of the situation is you're actually the most ignorant person in the room because you're not willing to be sharpened by criticism by other people, especially if you're an INFP man. Oh my God. Wow. But that's literally the truth. That's the facts. That's the truth. Okay? You need to be willing to take criticism. You need to be willing to be held accountable instead of running from criticism and running from accountability, because you'll never grow. And that's for all TE inferiors, not just INFPs. But it's especially bad with INFPs because y'all protect my comfort zone and criticism is not part of my comfort zone. You need to actually learn how to add criticism to your comfort zone. It's not about desensitizing yourself. It's about being comfortable and willing to expose yourself to criticism of others. Besides, FI heroes in general, they'll have really shitty lives unless they learn how to confess all the dark shit that's on their mind anyway. Because it's when they do that, they actually end up, by exposing the evil within, they actually unlock the ability to become the best and the goodest of us all through their FI hero. It's cognitive reflection, folks. That's how it works. It's the battleground of titans, okay? They may be that titan evil thinker, the evil plotter with that TI demon, but at the end of the day, here's the reality, okay? If you want to see the light, you have to be willing to risk the dark. That's the reality. Do that, okay? What's the meaning of life? What a question. Meaning of life is to, as a woman, be willing to follow a man's leadership even if it's painful to you. As a man, be willing to follow God's leadership even if it's painful to you. That's the meaning of life. Congratulations. Y'all played yourselves. All right, next question. All right, cool. How can INFJ... wait, hold on. Okay, here's a funny question. This is really funny. How can you get an ESFJ woman to lose weight? Oh my God. There's one way. There's one way to get an ESFJ woman to lose weight. One way. And you have to be her man. You have to be her man. You lose weight yourself. That's it. Then she'll lose weight. But until you do it, until you take the lead, it's not going to happen. Sorry. That's just reality. So, same, okay, yeah, Clover, same answer for an INFP woman. It's not hard. Yeah. Okay. Mana so, panggap sebentar. Whatever. Lo que digas, as they say in Castellano. Lo que digas. Whatever. Whatever you say, lo que digas. All right, so what we got here? How can INFJ UD types become clear in deriving and verifying truth? Okay, very easy. Ask other people what their opinions are. And it doesn't matter how credible. Stop, like your TE tricksters are so focused on credibility and wasting so much time with credibility, you're not getting anywhere in your life. If you listen to what looks credible, you're going to be ignorant because credibility is bullshit, okay? It's bullshit. Stop paying attention to credible. Every person you meet has been through some shit, okay? Every person you meet has an opinion. Ask everyone their opinion, write it down, okay? And then eventually, after you've gathered all that information, go find an FI parent and ask the FI parent type what's actually valuable. And let them weigh it out for you because you can't weigh it out with your FI critic. And they get them to weigh out the information you've gathered and then determine what is true, false, and process that information after the fact. You can't do it by yourselves. Stop trying to derive and verify truth by yourselves. You suck at it in general. No, luckily you're UD and you have a better chance of doing that than SD INFJs. But again, it's all about gathering other people's opinions. And one of the best ways you do that is by reading books. Read books. All books are opinions. So yeah. All right, how do substances affect different octograms? They kind of do that. So like if you're like UDUF, a lot of UDUF people rely on stims to get them as close to their subconscious as possible, but by doing so, it actually harms their neural pathways in such a way, as well as their neurotransmitters, to the point where they can only actually really become subconscious focused if they're actually relying on stimulants or substances. So they have to learn how to let go of the substances first and actually put in the real work and get them to subconscious focus, which is inversing their deadly sin and internalizing their deadly sin towards themselves instead of projecting it on other people, basically. That's literally how you do it. But, substances do definitely affect different octograms, okay? Whereas SDSF people, they oftentimes utilize depressants, and I like depressants a lot more, actually. Because then they feel a lot less enabled. They feel a little bit more disabled. Oh, I've kind of like increased my handicap for my performance right now because I'm on a depressant, like alcohol, for example, right? Or indica from a marijuana perspective. And it allows them to kind of test who they actually are, because sometimes they question themselves of whether or not they're too spoiled or too enabled in their life, right? So they want to see what it's like on the other side sometimes, and it's part of exploration, okay? Again, yes, substances definitely do affect octogram, but again, it's all temporary and never should be relied upon, okay? Besides, if you're subconscious focused already, who cares? You made it. Stay subconscious focused as best you can. That's what's actually important. All right. Give me a full breakdown of how each type selects their fashion or style. No. I am not answering this question. This question is way too big in scope for this stream. So go submit another question, okay? Seriously. Go back to the question submittal, say, hey, Chase decided not to answer this question on the stream. I'm submitting a new one. I don't care if you already submitted your question for lunch, submit another one, okay? No big deal. Okay, we got this. All right. How do bronze pairs exchange cognitive origins? All right. Another question. All right, so I'm not going to answer this question either because this question is heavily answered in season 14, part 3, which is the Natural Pairs, Season 14, Part 2, the Natural Pairs lectures. It's also heavily answered in the upcoming Ego Hacking Love course, which is available in our upcoming Practical Psychology membership, okay? If you want the answer to those questions, you're gonna have to go there for those. So go resubmit another question for that. I'm not answering that question, okay? Next question, how does an INFJ become more present? Very good. Love this question. Very pertinent question. Very pertinent question to even my own life right now, actually. How does an INFJ become more present? Very simple. Gather up for yourself totems, reminders of all of the good times in your life, and surround yourself with them every single day and look at them and remind yourself of all the good times that you've ever had, okay? This will help ground you in the present, so that you can presently experience all the good in your life all at once, instead of being haunted by your SI demon on a consistent basis, because your SI demon will break you down. Especially as an INFJ, you all are always trying to be so tough because Soul Temple Templars, you're always so worried about being a pussy all the time that you guys don't even give yourselves permission to grieve, because crying means you're just a pussy. No, grief is normal. Grief is just part of life. You have to give yourselves permission to grieve. And if no one's ever given you permission to grieve before, I'm giving you permission right now. You can grieve. As a woman, you might feel like you're just too much. You might feel like that your grief is too much and you have to go grieve alone. Yeah, sometimes that might be the case, because sometimes you might be pushing your grief on other people, and that can be a huge issue too. But at the same time, you shouldn't be grieving alone. And oftentimes, make sure you're going out of your way to not do that. Thanks for the super chat, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out. Shout out to El Pistolero. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the kind words, good sir. Shout out to you. How to bring out the best in my INTP boyfriend. You're going to have to watch INTP episodes behind our paywall at csjosephofficial.life/members, okay? Seriously, get educated. Especially season 19, especially the Ego Hacking Your Fear course. Go buy that course. That's how you bring out the best, okay? So yeah, that's how you be more present. Surround yourself with the totems, the reminders of all the good things that you have, so that you learn how to be grateful, because gratitude is the cure to grief. If you're overly grieved, it's either because you're ungrateful or you've never given yourself permission to grieve, but it's likely that you haven't given yourself permission to grieve because you are ungrateful. They go hand in hand. It's a yin and yang equilibrium, okay? One affects the other. Within your living virtue, make sure that you give yourself permission to grieve. You do already. And for some reason, you've just been trying to act tough your whole life. Maybe that's because your parents, that's how they treated you. Maybe it's how your family treated you. Maybe it's because you had these rough, fast friends in your life and whatnot who were taking advantage of you all the time, and you had to, quote, toughen up because that's what you had to do to survive. But the reality of the situation is that inhibit your emotional capacity to grieve. And INFJs struggle with grief the most out of the types, with ESTPs being second worst at it, okay? You have to give yourself the space and the time to grieve, and the people closest to you need to make sure that you have the room and the space to do that. Hello, No Thing. Shout out to No Thing for a super chat. All right, cool. All right. We're almost done. How does UCT affect mother-son relationship? Whew, that's a question. And it does. It hella does. Okay, so what is my mother's? Let's use my mother, for example. She's ISFJ. She is subconscious developed, and she is unconscious focused, has been for a long time. She's been SDUF for most of my life, decay energy. And decay energy as a woman would mean that she is extroverted, sensing, feminine primary. So she's hyper worried about performing badly all the time, okay? But then I had, as UDUF, okay, I had introverted feeling, okay? So introverted feeling does not really match with extroverted sensing, feminine primary, so obviously we're gonna have conflict. Then she went SDSF recently, actually, within the last 2 summers, she's gone SDSF, which has been awesome. It's been really great to see my mother grow in that direction. I'm so proud of her. I'm so thankful that she got that subconscious focus. And instead of being very bitter, she's become very kind. She's a very kind woman now, the kindest I've ever experienced in my life. And because of that, extrovert intuition is her feminine primary function. All about giving people choices, all about working hard to be desirable herself and increasing other people's desirability in the process. It's been really, really great to have her do that. But again, still, with me being UDSFTI, masculine primary, there's still a potential for conflict there. And that's why my mother and I definitely butt heads. Because guess what? Our UCT functions don't match up when it comes to being a mother and son relationship, which is what would happen between any woman and a man anyway. Now, if I was a daughter, it'd be different, because I would want to have the same UCT as her, or if it was a decision-making UCT, let's say she had FE feminine primary, then as a daughter, I would also want to have FE feminine primary so that we could both trauma dump to each other, right? Or if not, in order to reduce competition anyway, maybe if I was TE feminine primary as a daughter, that would be okay too, because it's still in the decision-making spectrum. It's still a judgment feminine primary based function. So there's no competition there anyway, and there's still camaraderie present from that perspective. All right. Oh, yes. Thank you for showing up and being an example to fellow men in this group. Seeing you continue to grow over these years is inspiring. Love you. Love you too, Harrison. Very much so. Thanks for the super chat. Love the super chats that keep the lights on. Cool. How does an INTP develop their subconscious? Getting out of their comfort zone consistently and exploring things, even if they're dangerous. Explore, 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 explore. Body temple way, live dangerously, okay? Which heart temple naturally does, but body temple needs to learn how to do it, right? But if they do it with other people, there's shared risk, okay? And then they don't, so that's just kind of how it is. But body temple's like pretty, is pretty pragmatic. It's one of the two pragmatic temples. Heart temple's the other pragmatic temple. Oftentimes body temple wants to learn how to do everything in themselves, which can be very good for the men to do, but not so good for the women to do, because then they're at risk of being emasculating and reducing their value in the process. So you gotta be like super careful with that, body temple girls, be careful. Heart temple girls, same advice applies to you as well. Be very careful. Heart temple and body temple men definitely learn how to live dangerously, right? And just live basically according to your life in your pragmatic way, just by being you anyway, and learn how to be strong enough to be able to do it by yourself. Okay, some good advice for the temples. Very good. All right, ESFJ, SDSF takes stems and becomes more movement-oriented. Yes, of course. If you're SDSF, the reason why, because the question is asked like, if I'm taking stems and I'm SDSF as an ESFJ, why am I so movement-oriented? The reason why is because you'd think that you're putting yourself in your subconscious with stems, right, when you're SDSF. Well, sure you are, but because you're SDSF, your neural pathways are mapping you back to your ego anyway. So you're going from movement to outcome back to movement on stems. So of course you're going to be more movement oriented when you're stemmed out as an SDSF ESFJ. That's the answer to that question. What is more powerful? Purpose, cognitive origin of purpose, versus introvert intuition, hero willpower. Okay, this is basically ENTJ versus INTJ. What's more powerful? Purpose. Purpose is. You can have all the willpower in the world, but if you don't have purpose, you basically don't really have anything going on for you. Willpower is a means to get purpose. That's why purpose always trumps willpower. Willpower is what you need to get on to be on the journey towards your purpose, and it's going to may take a while for you to discover your purpose, but the purpose is the end goal. The purpose is ultimately the outcome that eventually you get. If you're a man, you need to be consistently committed to spending your willpower in such a way where you're going to obtain your purpose. If you're a woman, you need to be consistently looking for a man who has purpose, and then he will be leading you to his purpose alongside him in the process. That's literally how that works, folks. So purpose always trumps willpower from that perspective. Next question. INTP, UDF male, how do I cope with school and psychological racism? Well, to cope with psychological racism, love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The golden rule, folks, the greatest commandment. It's not hard. It's in the New Testament, okay? But that's literally the answer. Because here's the thing. If like you're not psychologically racist if you're actually going away to psychoanalyze other people and know their nurture and their nature, right? So then you're understanding them. Because you understand them, you can forgive them, which means you can love them. But then you should be understanding yourself so you can forgive yourself and love yourself, which is hard to do as an INTP because you have extroverted feeling inferior and you feel guilty all the time for like no reason. Come on. That's just not how it is. And in terms of coping with school, go to school, get what you need from school, and then get out and stay out. And then just go explore and do your own thing. Okay? Smile, chase, be happy. I am happy. Come on. Come on, no thing. Come on. All right. So, how do I social engineer an ESTJ SUF man to break his social conditioning? Okay. So, if he's SDUF, what's happening there is that his introverted thinking, masculine primary function, is primary introverted thinking. You need to prove him wrong. You need to prove him wrong constantly. Prove him wrong from the perspective of his social conditioning. Bring other people who are willing to argue him to death. Bring in books and resources and data and information. Bring it to him that proves him wrong consistently. That's how you do it. And by proving him wrong, he'll realize that being invested in his TI masculine primary function is not the best investment, that his introverted feeling is a better investment, and that'll actually be how he transforms from decay into joy energy and gains SDSF. Okay, that's how that works. Next question. Okay. How does an INTP choose which sources like books are good to consume? Well, an INTP can't do that by themselves. But literally, like, as I tell INTPs and any NTP, boil the ocean. Boil the ocean, which basically means do all the things. Do everything. Like, read everything, explore everything, do it all, especially nonfiction, okay? But do it all, because what may not be useful to you right now will be useful to you in 20 years, because you'll remember it. And the next intuition parent will actually be able to get to a point where it's like, oh, they'll actually get to a point where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I actually see how all these unrelated things are actually related, and I can actually create a really cool system to solve a bunch of problems, okay? Yeah, that's literally how that works entirely. Absolutely entirely. So yeah, folks, that's it for the Acolyte Q&A session tonight. That's it. So thank you all for watching and listening, and I'll see you guys on next month's stream where I'm doing question and answer for the Acolyte members. If you want to become an Acolyte member, go to csjoseph.life/members, get a Journeyman membership, and then on the next page, you'll have an opportunity to upgrade to Acolyte. It is $100 a month total for both of them at the same time, or you can get 3 months of it at a discounted price, plus a coaching session with me where I verify your personality type and octagram at csjoseph.life/essentials. Do that before that deal disappears, which should be disappearing in about 2 weeks' time anyway. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.